Hello, successful people.
Welcome back to the Iron Fire Success channel. I'm DK.
And I'm Mo.
Thank you so much to our subscribers.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome. In today's video, we're going to talk about how we used our cell phone during a 10-day cruise on the Celebrity Beyond.
For a total of $160.
Let's get into the video.
First, let's get right into how I used my cell phone on a 10-day cruise on the Celebrity Beyond and paid only $160. So if you don't know yet the differences between using your own cell phone on a cruise versus using the ship Wi-Fi versus using an eSIM, check out my previous video where I explain all of that, and I will drop a link in the description box. I have visuals and kind of walk you through what the differences are so you can decide what's the best thing to do for you. I decided I wanted to check out my own cell phone carrier, which is AT&T, and see what kind of programs they had so I could use my own phone. Now, AT&T is not paying me to do this video, so I can say what I want and tell you whether or not I thought it worked or not. So what I did is in December of 2024, AT&T had a program called Cruise Basic, which was for $60. You could use your cell phone while on a cruise ship for 30 days. That program gave you 500 megabytes of data. Then they had a program called Cruise Plus. For $100, you can have 1 gig of data and the program covers you for 30 days. So if you were on a long, maybe transatlantic voyage, or you were on a 14-day cruise, this would cover the whole time and then some, because you're paying for 30 days, but most people aren't gonna be on a cruise for 30 days. So I did that. Then I have an international plan where whenever I am in certain countries and I go to use my cell phone, AT&T would charge $12 per day. So the boat made 5 port stops, and so 12 times 5 is the $60, and then I paid $100 for the cruise ship coverage. Now, I happen to have an unlimited talk, text, and data plan with AT&T. So because I had that Cruise Plus plan, even though it included 1 gig of data, it was still unlimited talk and text. That actually worked out pretty well. Every time the boat stopped in a port, I would get a text message from AT&T saying, hey, you now are covered by our international plan. I'm only paying the $12 per day if I use my phone in that port country on that day. So if I had my cell phone turned off, or if I had it on airplane mode or something like that, that blocks the cell signal, then I would not get charged that $12. Same thing for the cruise ship plan. If I'm on the cruise ship and I have my phone in airplane mode, or I turn cellular data off, I'm not actually using any of that 1 gig of data. And really, because I wasn't doing a whole lot while at sea, I never came close to even using that 1 gig of data. And by the way, there is a way on your cell phone that you can look in your settings under cellular and look for cellular data if you want to see how much data you actually use in a certain period, so you can tell whether or not what it is you're doing is going to eat up a lot of data or not. But that doesn't really matter, because as of April 2025, AT&T changed the program. It's called International Day Pass for Cruises. But before I forget, let me just tell you that when I looked at my cell phone bill, I was not charged anything other than the $12 per day for the days that I was in port and used my phone. And I didn't pay anything else other than that $100. So in that regard, it happened to be true, and it worked out, and it was fine. And the $100 that I paid kind of was activated for 30 days. So I guess if I had went on another cruise shortly after I got back from that cruise and it was still covered within the 30 days, I still would have been able to use my phone under that same program for the same $100. But now the program is called International Day Pass for Cruises. So what that does is say it's $20 per day while you're on the boat and on land. What does that $20 get you? This is what's different from the previous program. It's 5 megabytes of data per day. So it resets every 24-hour period. It's unlimited talk and text and the 500 megabytes of data. Now, I looked it up to try to figure out, so what happens if you go over the 500 megabytes of data, right? Like, what does that cost? And it took me a while on the AT&T website. I'm going to drop the link for you in the description box because maybe you're going to figure it out faster than I did. But what I saw was something that said, okay, after you use your 500 megabytes, in 24 hours, the max speed drops to 512 kbps on certain ships. And then at the beginning of the next 24-hour period, it goes back up to whatever the max speed is on the ship that you're on. And on the AT&T website, it does have a list of participating ships. I'm going to drop a link that's separately for that so you won't have to look for it. My issue was, how much money is that, right? If I go over 500, what are you going to charge me? Here's what I figured out. The plan in general is geared towards people who already have an unlimited talk, text, and data plan with AT&T because this cruise plan mimics the benefits you already have on your existing plan. So because I have an unlimited talk, text, and data plan with AT&T, when I pay my $20 a day, what I'm getting is that. The thing is, if I go over 500 megabytes of data, my speed reduces. But for me, I'm not paying any extra money. I saw like a little tiny fine print somewhere that said, if your wireless plan does not include unlimited text, talk, and data, overage charges may apply. This is why it's very important to read the fine print on these programs, because I knew there's no way that there isn't some fee for going over the 500 megabytes of data per day. And the answer to that is not if you have an unlimited plan now before you sign up for this cruise program. So please keep that in mind. But you can contact AT&T if you don't and figure out how much it is they're going to charge you for going over, because they weren't saying anywhere on the website I could find. But here's how it works. So when you have the $20 International Cruise Day Pass, $20 per day, like I said, the $20 resets every day and it activates whenever you're using it. So if you have your phone on airplane mode or your phone is turned off or all your cellular data is off, theoretically, you should not be charged the $20. Now, if it's a day where you're on the cruise ship and you're using it, and then the boat goes into port, you get off at port, and you're using your phone. What's supposed to happen is it's not supposed to charge you an extra amount of money for using it on land. That $20 is supposed to cover usage on the cruise ship and usage on land too. Now, I'm not going on another cruise this year. Right now, I'm not planned to go on one until December, but I am going to try this and see if it works. I think I might be going on a cruise in August. So if I do, I'm going to try it then, and I'll come back and let you know if that actually worked out. Now, AT&T has a different program for international phone use, which is what I used before in December, where if you did not get the $20 International Cruise Day Pass and you just wanted to get the International Day Pass for land, that is $12 a day still, just like it was for me in December. So if you weren't going to use your cell phone while you're on the boat, I should say at sea, not technically on the boat, because when the boat is in port, you are now in another country, which would kick in the international land plan. But if you plan on using it only on land, that is going to be $12, unlimited talk, text, data, because remember, That's the plan I have now. So whatever my benefits are will mimic what I have now. So $12 unlimited talk, text, and data while I am on land. So that was the way that I was able to use my cell phone while on a cruise and at port. And, I wanted to use it for maps and things like that whenever I was at port. If I got off the boat and went on an excursion, say, I want to know where I am. That $12, I think, was well spent to be able to do that. And as it turned out, there really wasn't a lot of time at sea. There was only 2 days at the beginning and maybe 2.5 days at the end. So the situation where I was not in a port and I was at sea and was really on my phone and doing a whole lot of stuff just did not come up, honestly. So that's why the $160, I think if I was to repeat that now, I might not even pay $160 because I don't know I'd be on my phone every day while the boat is at sea. I encourage everyone, read the fine print, call your cell phone carrier, ask them questions, and actually I would call them more than once because what I noticed is when you're calling, people have a tendency of answering questions based on the knowledge they have that day, where they may not say, I don't know, let me go check. But if you hang up and then you call back and get somebody else, you might actually get different information. One of the things I did was just try it. I looked at my cell phone bill before I left. I tried to see how much data I would use to do what, and I knew I was taking my chances because it's possible that it may not have worked out the way that I wanted. I was diligent about putting my phone in airplane mode when I wasn't using it and shutting it off sometimes so that I didn't have an issue using up more data because I wasn't sure if I was going to get charged or what would happen. So there you go. That is how I used my cell phone while I was on a cruise and did not have to pay for a ship Wi-Fi or an eSIM. Look and see what plan your cell phone carrier has. It might be something you can use. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some ideas on how you can use your own cell phone on your next cruise.
Please subscribe for more content about new home construction and model home tours in and around San Antonio.
And subscribe to continue to follow us as we continue to turn our new construction house into a home and give you cruise and travel tips.
As always, until next time, be peaceful, stay prayerful, and count your blessings.